Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden, and today I am potting up a bunch of my seedlings, so I'm going to be making them larger containers so they continue to grow on before I plant them up in the garden. Now I have to be perfectly honest, this is probably one of my least favorite things to do about gardening, but it is a necessary evil in my opinion. I don't do this with all of my seedlings. I have a lot of seedlings going right now, some doing well, some not doing so well. But a lot of the seedlings that I'm going to be potting up today is mainly the petunias, some alyssum, delphinium, violas, and basil, tomatoes, and peppers. So all of these items are items that I am not ready to plant directly out into my garden, but it's time for them to go to a larger container. I keep most of my nursery pots that I get, and so I'll be filling these with a mix of soil and fertilizer, and then I'll be adding in my sweet little, let me see if I can get out my sweet little seedlings over here into each of the containers. And this is going to allow them more space to grow a deeper root system and a larger, stronger root system until I'm ready to put them in the garden. Now I have a wide variety of seedlings that I'm gonna leave right now in their soil blocks or in their small little seedling containers. That is statice, snapdragons, strawflower, and stock. Those will all be directly planted into my raised bed gardens. I'm just not ready to do that yet. But all of these right now are a little bit too immature, or my temperature's not quite right for them yet. So go ahead and potting them up, meaning I'm moving from their smaller kind of location or cube into a larger container, potting up, and giving them the opportunity to grow on larger in here. It's going to benefit the plant in the end. So let's talk about each of these seedlings and how they're doing. Okay, first off, we're going to start with our Delphinium Pacific Giants mix. I started 24 seed block or soil blocks, and I put multiple seeds in each container. Out of those, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So just over 50%. Some of these seeds were new, some of these seeds were old. You can see they're at very different stages even within the same container. This one is much further along than this guy right here. So I will say I feel like this is pretty good for delphinium. I don't have a lot of luck with delphinium, so 50% I'm super thrilled with. But these are definitely ready to go up in the containers. I'm just not ready to put them directly into the garden. These seeds have been outside. They are more than acclimated to the temperatures out there. I just need these to be a little bit further along before I tuck them into the garden, because I need them to stand out a little bit more so that I don't happen to weed them out, but also so they can withstand any kind of future storms that we have coming up. All right, so this next container, you can see it's been outside. It's got leaves and sticks and all kinds of stuff in it. We have over here are my viola frizzle swizzle over here, looking really, really good. Right here are my Mineola Aqua. Remember, I did not have very good germination on them, but I do have 3 plants coming up pretty well. Then I have my Viola Bulls Black. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 8. And then right here is my Tiny Tim Alyssum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 out of 8, looking really good. I do need these to be a little bit more mature before I utilize them in the containers that I have plans for. These next ones right here are a mix of pansies and petunias. This first line right here, oh, there's a, oh, I got a little lizard over here hanging out. Let me see if I can scoop him into a container perhaps. Oh, come here, dude. Come here, come on. Oh, here, go in there. There you go. Woo! Okay, got that little guy out. So right here, I've got pansies. These are called Black Devil. All 4 came up. These right here are Petunia Lace Veil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 8 came up. And this one right here is Petunia Triumph Mix, and all 8 came up very, very well. And this Triumph Mix is going for gold, so it's pretty big right now. Next is a mix of my peppers, basil, and tomatoes. Some did well, some not so much. So I've got the orange or tomato orange hat. All of them came up. I've got the tomato indigo blue chocolate. Let's see, I had, well, this guy did originally come up, but he doesn't look as good now. So 4 out of 5. My jigsaw pepper, we had 5 out of 5. My sweet pepper escamillo, 3 out of 3. My hot pepper Jedi, I had 3 out of 3. My cardinal basil did not do so well this year, so I only have 2 plants right here, which is a little bit disappointing. I think that was all I had. I think this one might be a basil, so I think I actually have 3. And then purple ruffles basil, all of them came up, but the seedlings have been looking a little sickly. I think they've been a little too wet. And then my lemon basil right here, all of them came up as well. So all of this, I just want to put it into containers for now until I decide where it's going to go and how I'm going to utilize it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my soil tray. This is my plastic soil tray that I have been using and loving. It allows me to move it inside, outside, hose it off, change it up, and it doesn't take up very much space when I'm not utilizing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a mix of potting soil, and then I'm going to add in some long-lasting, or excuse me, slow-release fertilizer. Okay, so I'm using a new variety of soil, potting soil that I'm picking up from Homegrown in Farmersville. And the variety is called Vital Mix potting soil. We're going to be mixing up quite a bit of soil. I know this looks like a ridiculous amount. And then I'm going to be adding in Plant-Tone slow release fertilizer. And then I just know that these get, the fertilization that they need over time. And I'm going to just get this all mixed up really well. Now I will still, when I water these, I will still be watering them pretty much every other week with, I water them all the time, but I'll be adding a liquid fertilizer to their water about every other week. And so I'm going to start by taking my container. I'm just going to fill it up loosely. I'm not packing it all down at this point. So I'm just going to start filling up containers that way. You can definitely use smaller containers if you want. These are just the ones that I happen to have on hand. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the delphinium. And I should have, yeah, I do have a little spatula to get them up. So basically what I'm going to do is I pull out my soil block. I'm going to just open a space down into the soil, push this in, and we're good to go. Like, that's it. That's all I'm going to be doing. Super simple process. I do not pack down my soil in the container right away because that makes it harder to get the soil in. That's why I kind of just make space, push the soil cube down into it, and then tuck soil around it. Super simple, super easy process. Let me give you guys a close-up. So I just make a hole in the soil, pull out my soil block, squish it down into place. I'm pretty firm with it. And then pull up the soil around it. Super simple, super easy. Just like that. And the extra soil blocks that I'll just dump them into here. They've gotten a lot of fertilizer from watering, so they're in good shape, and they're definitely like usable soil. And this will just allow these plants to send their roots deeper, stronger systems. They're looking in really great shape. I have found that when I start delphinium from seed, they're not going to bloom for me in the spring. They typically will bloom for me in the fall. Okay, so obviously I miscounted earlier. I thought I only had 12, but it looks like I have 16 seedlings out of 24. Not bad at all. So let me get these shifted outside and then we'll talk about the next one. Okay, I'm going to fill up a few more containers. Now, one thing I have to say about potting up, this is the way I do it. That doesn't mean that you have to do it this way. You might have a better way, all right? And if you have a better way that you like better, feel free to share it. It's just what I do. Typically, I like to use smaller containers, but I don't have those in hand. So this is what I'm doing because I'm not going to buy containers for potting up. Just seems wasteful. I like this process better this way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to pot up the, let's see, the Black Devil Pansy and the Lace Veiled Petunias. I think I'm going to go ahead and pot up the Triumph Mixed Petunias too. Okay, so the next batch is going to be the tomatoes and peppers and basil. So I'm going to start with my soil again. Add some time-released fertilizer. Get this mixed up. And for these, I'm going to be using some red solo cups that I've used in the past to start seedlings. I save a lot of stuff, y'all. These red solo cups are a couple of years old, but they hold a little bit less soil, which works for me. And they already have holes on the bottom. And so I'm going to put all of the tomatoes, peppers, and basil in these. And I think that'll work out really well. Still the same process. Just lightly adding the soil. I'm not pushing it down. And then I'll show you on these next ones because they are not in soil blocks. They're a little different. Okay, so these next set are part of that Jiffy tray that I did. The tray that you can just get from like Home Depot or Lowe's. And so they've kind of got these decomposing containers for each of the plants. So I'm going to start with the orange hat tomatoes. And basically what I like to do is I just like to rip off the bottom of the container. And then basically just going to come through just like this. And that's it. Very simply done. No big deal. Super easy peasy. Just pop off the bottom of the container like that. I should have not filled these up all the way, but that's okay. And see how I give like a little shape to them? I think that's always helpful to settle the soil a little bit more. And I have 10 of these orange hat tomatoes. Hi, I'm recording. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so at this point, I've got everything potted up. And so I still want to bottom water these for a little bit, just because the seedlings are a little weak from their transplant process. So this container, or this wagon that I got for Christmas, holds water, and then I've got all of these in a couple of containers over here. I'm going to start with a little bit of water, and then I'll come back out and check them later today to see how much they have absorbed. As I recall, I believe the red solo cups take a little bit longer to absorb. But these are bigger containers now, so they're obviously going to be able to absorb more water. But I'll definitely have to keep an eye on these and see how well they are absorbing the water over time. Oh my gosh, like this guy's already absorbed a ton. Okay. Okay, thanks so much for joining me for this one. Not one of my favorite things, but I will say the results make me feel really excited and happy. Like I said, the reason I'm potting up a lot of these is because I'm just not ready to put them into the ground. I want them to be a little further along. Whereas like I do have these containers of all my status and all that stuff over here. They're all looking really good, but these will be going directly into the raised gardens. I will say I haven't set up my greenhouse so far this year. We've had an abnormally warm winter. However, I do think I'm getting to the point where a lot of these plants need a little bit more consistent heat. So I think I am going to need to set up the greenhouse in order to accommodate all of that. All right, y'all, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up. And make sure you check me out on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, if you're looking just for exclusive photos and chat, you can check out the community tab on my YouTube channel. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.